V&A Health Services and Blue Water Hospice are building our community's first hospice home in St. Clair County to meet the needs of terminally ill patients who can no longer be safely cared for in their own home. On behalf of V&A Health Services and Blue Water Hospice, we thank you for joining us in viewing this presentation.
He was always a very active man. He was 91. He was still out deer hunting. And to see him like this, confined to a chair, I don't wish this on him.
My mother went in for her annual physical. About a week afterwards, the doctor called her and said that he'd seen a little shadow on her lung. He was pretty sure that the lung cancer was back.
I remember times where she would walk and be in so much pain, but she was determined. She was a great mom for us.
All of us sisters pulled together, but that's the point. We had sisters. There's people out there that have nobody.
The goal of hospice care is to provide dignity, compassion, and freedom from pain at the end of one's life. The original vision was to do this in an inpatient setting, but unfortunately, Dr. Schaudy was ahead of his time with this concept. As a result, it was decided to offer the special kind of caring hospice is known for in the comfort of a patient's own home, where they're surrounded by the people they love and the things that are familiar to them.
Patients at the end of their life, prior to hospice care, were too often poorly treated, being placed in a room at the end of the hall. Often isolated, abandoned, with medication and treatment minimized. In addition, pain medications were unnecessarily limited. The family was in disarray as their loved one was suffering. They were left to struggle alone. We needed a form of care that was concentrated and dedicated to the relief of these problems, and hospice seemed the best answer.
My mom, she would have fits. The doctor felt that she still had her mind and that she could decide to go home as long as someone would move in. And so I moved from Saginaw here and brought her home to her house.
Mother had only me to depend on, and I know that there are other people who quite simply don't have anyone.
Everybody wants to take care of their parents, and they feel they're obligated to, and which is fine and dandy because we did the same thing. But there comes a time when you are just burned out, where you can't do this 24 hours a day no more.
Give up your entire life.
Yes, you do.
Because
And
you
it's
have to
too
be
hard.
24/7.
Like you're trapped. You're in prison. You can't go anywhere. You can't do anything.
When hospice came in and took care of my mom, it was a relief off me. Even though I was there 24/7, it was still a relief off of me.
They treat you like this is their mom, their grandma. They step in. They just, because there's a lot of people that have no clue what to do at the end.
Sometimes there are things that come up and you don't know what to do. I think the most frightening was the night she woke up choking. And that was just so heartbreaking. Hospice was there. We did call and they called back immediately. And something as simple as raising the O2, the amount of O2.
That a nurse could have did.
Yeah.
You know, we wouldn't have had to see, that look in her eye.
Yeah.
Because they were really good at telling me what my options were, even down to describing the care that I could receive as my mother's caretaker. And I don't think people understand that about hospice, that it is a very holistic approach for the whole entire family, and that they will do as little or as much as you actually need.
They were there anytime we needed anything. It just made it so much easier to do.
I was with my mom off and on all that night, and she was eventually able to rest comfortably. Sometime between 2:30 and 4:30 a.m. she passed away, and I was very calm and relaxed about it all. It seemed gentle because I had been advised to give her the exact right amount of medication to relax her and make her comfortable.
My mother was in a hospice facility. It was called Elizabeth House, and that was in Hendersonville, North Carolina.
It was like going into a retreat, and she had her own room, and it was just like a great big house. And all the people involved with hospice there, they were like angels of mercy, the way I look at it.
There were many times before my mother got too bad where we would actually have a meal, and we would sit at this huge dining room table, just like we did when we were kids. And Mom and Dad would be there, and me and my other 3 sisters, and it was a wonderful feeling to be there, to share this meal without being maybe in a hospital room.
The need for end-of-life care has increased over the years as the population has aged. Blue Water Hospice plans to build a home away from home for those who cannot be cared for in their own residence due to caregiver fatigue or non-availability around the clock. Our hospice residents will provide 12 private, comfortable rooms with a home-like environment geared for those last days of life.
Situated on grounds that provide a tranquil setting, our facility will afford a view from the pillow, which is vital in the design of the home. From the bed, each patient will be able to visualize activity, nature, and life. The ability will also exist for the patient to be taken outside onto a private patio, to use the walking paths, share a meal with loved ones, and for the family to spend the night in the patient's room. Expertise in pain and symptom control, along with psychosocial and spiritual support, will be provided to the patient and their loved ones by our experienced staff. This holistic care in a home-like setting will be the first of its kind in our community and will provide the special kind of caring that patients and families need at the end of life.
I'm Bill Moskow, and I've experienced how hospice can give patients and families expert end-of-life care and comfort. A home away from home for hospice patients and their families is much needed in our community. On behalf of Visiting Nurse Association and Blue Water Hospice, I'm asking for your financial support of this project. We can make it happen, but only with your help. Won't you please take the next step by giving what you can for every family who may need a home away from home for end-of-life care. Thank you for embracing our vision.
It takes a community to take care of somebody that's dying. You can't do it by yourself.